God, it's been so long. I'm checking my account right now. I think the last time I uploaded, well, 4 months ago, I uploaded a Mother's Day video, which none of you saw because it was private. One of the things I'm most proud of that I've ever made. 6 months ago was my trip to Fiji, the last time that I posted. Honestly, for the last 3 weeks, I've been trying to post a video every week. I have one video from Seattle, actually, from the beginning of this year, which is forgot that I even recorded it. It was a great video up in Seattle. I was up there for the whole week, and so I brought the whole family and the boys, and they kind of had their own excursions and had fun during the day when I was at work, but got to kind of enjoy and live in the city for a week. I more or less am documenting this for me. It was a fun trip, and I want to have it archived. So some of these more personal vlogs are honestly more for me than you, but if you enjoy them and find any interest or entertainment, you're welcome.
Did you step inside my head for a minute? Tell me if you ever find the space.
How was the flight?
Good.
Did it? So I'm a Alaska MVP and get randomly upgraded at times. We were all sitting in the same row and I got upgraded to first class.
Yes.
And I gave it to Erica. Erica, how was your first class?
It was amazing. I sat back with champagne.
But you get to fly home with the kids by yourself.
Fair trade-off. And you in first class.
Today we're off to go get some breakfast, walk around Pike's Place area, and go see Google Seattle. There's a game room, and the kids are gonna play.
When I saw you there, I knew you could feel it. I could see the sadness hanging off your brow. You'll admit it once, but you won't repeat it. If I was lying, then I will love you now. Life moves fast, and it don't feel whole.
No, it's just stone. No, it's not real. Yeah.
You get sad, you pray you don't get lonely, pray you don't get lonely, you pray you don't get lonely.
I wanted to share some of the thoughts that I had regarding some of the things that I came up here for. And so I did some time lapses, was intending to record this nice video of me in a cool looking room overlooking Seattle. Instead you get this, me in a Toyota van. So one of the main reasons I came up to Seattle was because there's an engineering team and a couple PMs that are working up here that I've been working with for the last year and a half. And there's a big transition. I can't really say exactly what it is because obviously it's something that's coming in the future. But there's this idea that I had and many other designers had been talking about that we thought was very needed for the future. Long story short, the last year we've kind of negotiated that like, hey, this is the right thing we should do and let's get everyone on board to do it. This week was an exciting week because it was the first week where we really dug into the details and figured out like how and where and why. I know that all sounds a little bit cryptic because I'm not getting too detailed, but I wanted to talk about something specific that relates to design in our role as designers in the product space. There was so much that I thought I had understood about how this feature in this space should work. And I had painted a lot of that and got approval from our director, all of the management, and been like, hey, we're gonna do this thing. But the reality is that like, the more time I spent with the two engineers building the back end and the front end of this feature, and the more that I talked to the couple PMs that touched the space, the more I realized how much I just really don't understand. And honestly, like, this just for me is another example of how it's not really being pretentious as a designer, but how simply we think. Like as designers, I think we really have the advantage of seeing the perfect scenario and understanding how things should work. I think we lack the ability to understand everything around that. So like we could say, this is how this experience should feel. This is the effortless, intuitive, ideal way this thing works. What I don't, and what I think in general designers don't do a good job at, is understanding everything else. If things aren't ideal, if there is a bad internet connection, if there is an error, if there needs to be an update, scalability. These are all things that I think we think about and eventually we solve. But when we get excited and want to propose something, a lot of that detailed work doesn't get thought through. And ideally, if your solution and your idea is good enough, it can be scaled and it can be worked out. That's not a problem. The risk we take as designers is that if we don't spend the time to think through some of the more nuance, whether that's a state or an error or a scenario for the user, if we don't think through those things, we run the risk of pitching an idea that we think is ideal, and it probably is for that one scenario, but if we don't think through the details, we run the risk of that not actually working and then having to backpedal and rethink our solution. Thankfully, the thing that I was thinking about and proposing and the thing the team is working on is actually pretty unanimously agreed on, and we're pretty pumped about the solution. The last 3 days were me honestly just sitting in a lot of rooms with a lot of people agreeing and outlining all the details of what we further need to document and get approval on, which for me is a huge win. Like, I honestly haven't opened Sketch in 3 days. It's just been like whiteboarding and talking, and that's some of the favorite work for me. I really enjoy that work. It's somewhat exhausting from a mental, emotional standpoint, but love that problem solving that's not like pixel specific. I'm excited to get on the airplane. I'm excited to get home. I'm excited to hang out with my boys a little bit more. My wife leaves tomorrow for a wedding, and I have more dad life for the next 2 or 3 days. I love Seattle. I want to move here. We can talk about that in another video. I'm gonna try and turn this camera off and get to the airport safely. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like these things, of course, like, subscribe, all the YouTube things. See you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.
My head for a minute. Tell me if you ever find space. Can't tell if it's just me, well, I'm in it, or if everybody else all feels the same.